And we are live.
We're live. Oh, I think it's going to be a good night then. So what's happening, everybody? This is Chris Denner with Dugout Mugs. My guy, Nate. We're here. We actually got a pretty cool night tonight. And if you're watching, you might know what that's all about. But for those of you who don't know what we're all about, we're the guys that take the baseball bat. We take the top of it and we hollow it out. We turn it into amazing mugs that you can actually drink from, like my colleague Nate is doing right now. For those that follow us, we appreciate you. A lot of you are already in the dugout now, but they are fully functional. You pour liquid into the mug and you use it from there. But it's not about us tonight. It's about somebody else.
For those of you who do not know, we have a very special guest today, the Hit King, one of the greatest hitters of all time, my favorite player. He is an incredible athlete and guy. We could go on forever. Chris, what else can we tell people about our amazing guest?
I'd rather Pete do the talking, but I can tell you this: as an entrepreneur, I appreciate hustle, right? And Charlie Hustle is a name that was given to Pete Rose a while ago, and I hope he'll get into that story a little bit. But I appreciate hustle. I've hustled since I was little, and it's taken us a long way. And I think it's done the exact same thing for Pete and athletes and people all over the world that hustle. So without further ado, the Hit King, Mr. 4256, Charlie Hustle. I know you're in the background. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. You know, when I'm looking at this mug, Chris, and if you fill this up with beer, okay?
I've done that before.
That would be more beer than I've drank in my whole life.
Really?
So I would be bad for mug sales because I'm not a beer drinker.
Put it
and put water in there. You can put orange in there. You 100%. Can put anything in there.
You can put coffee. You can put coffee in there too.
These are unbelievable. I mean, the designer who did like me standing there, like when I just broke the record, and other ones with a bat in my hand. This is a classy work right here. And I
appreciate that.
I want to thank you for doing it.
I appreciate that very much. We take what we do. We have a lot of fun, right? But we take what we do extremely serious and we hustle. Okay. And speaking of the mugs, if you don't mind, let me show. This is what we're doing. So what we did for Pete, you can see this one. There we go.
That's a base hit.
It wouldn't shock me. I know how much you know about baseball if you knew what each one of these was.
Well, that's on deck circle, getting ready to get 4192 actually.
And then the one you were just showing, I'm going to save my favorite for last. So this right here was the full size. This takes up the whole mug. And each one of them has the Hit King engraved in the bottom, which I love.
Was anniversary last week on September 11th.
I know it was. We tried to get this interview on that date, but you guys were busy. So we had to do it a couple of days after, but I knew that.
Yeah, but those guys who bombed the Trade Center ruined that date. No question about that. So on September 11th, everybody celebrates the Trade Centers. But
we remember. Yeah. So this is the 4256, the King.
Yeah.
And then my favorite, this is the one we call the Charlie Hustle.
That's what it is. That's a good picture right there.
Oh yeah, that's a good looking dude right there.
I like that one.
Yeah, that's actually my favorite.
Put a lot of work into that.
We did. Like I said, we take very seriously what we do. Now, not only do we do the custom stuff, we also have MLB. We have MLB minor league. We have Hall of Fame. We have all kinds of different licenses with our stuff. This is a real cool one we did for the Cincinnati Reds. Can you see that one?
150.
The 150th. And then
we were the first team in baseball in 1869. The Cincinnati Red Sox. We were the first night game played in baseball in 1935 at Crosley Field. So don't forget, I'm from Cincinnati. I was born from the ballpark. And we Cincinnati fans think we're the best fans in the world. I know New York fans think they are. Because
Cincinnati fans are serious.
Yeah, baseball started in Cincinnati, and night baseball started in Cincinnati, and we've been going for over 150 years, which is really a good thing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Speaking of growing up that close to the park, I mean, tell me a couple stories, man. Like, what was it like as a kid? Did you ever dream you were going to grow up and play for the Reds?
That's interesting because my dad worked at Fifth Third Union Trust Company, which is a big bank in Cincinnati. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but I grew up in the same neighborhood as Don Zimmer. Same Little League fields and coaches, same American Legion field and coaches, same high school field and coaches. And matter of fact, Dud Zimmer, Don's dad, and my dad were Little League teammates. Okay, so my dad always tried to get tickets when the Dodgers would come into town because Don was on the Dodgers and he backed up Pee Wee Reese. Okay, he was the backup shortstop on the Dodgers. And in those days at Crosby Field, the visitors' clubhouse was a separate building behind the stadium. And we used to wait for Don to come out. And he introduced me to Jackie, and he introduced me to Roy, and Duke Snyder, and Carl Ferrillo, and Charlie Neal. And I knew Pee Wee for forever. So I got to meet all those guys, but I only went to the games when the Dodgers come into town. And occasionally I'd go to see Willie Mays when the New York Giants would come into town. Monty Irvin. I mean, I can go back and name all the players because in those days, all you had to do as a kid is go to baseball games.
Yeah.
So football.
Who was your favorite? Like, who was the guy that inspired you the most, do you think?
Well, believe it or not, the guy he didn't inspire me. I just was his favorite because he was so good. Was a first baseman named Ted Kwaszewski, the guy with the big arms. He's the reason the Reds had the cut off sleeves because his arms were so big. Matter of fact, he was a receiver at Indiana for football, and he ended up being my batting coach as a player and my batting coach when I was manager of the Reds. Big clue. My first roommate was one of my idols, Johnny Temple, because in high school I was a second baseman, and Johnny was the second baseman on the Reds. And of course, later on, when I was older, I liked Frank Robinson. I ended up playing with Frank in 60, 63, 64, and 65. Then some idiot traded him over to Baltimore, and the next year he won the Triple Crown. That was a bad trade.
Yeah.
But Frank was a really good player, one of the top 5 ever, I think. And
Man, those are some legends. Those are some legendary names that you just have, just memory after memory.
They're all friends of mine. And we had another guy. Every team that has a star, okay? And Frank was a star in Cincinnati. But a really good player that didn't get the attention was a guy named Vada Pinson. But he played under the shadow of Frank Robinson. Okay? Roger Maris played under the shadow of Mickey Mantle. Eddie Matthews played under the shadow of Hank Aaron. Every star player. Willie Mays was the star player. Who played under his shadow? Willie McCovey. But everybody I just mentioned that played under the shadows, except Vada, are in the Hall of Fame. Somebody's got to get all the publicity. On my team, okay, I got publicity. Bench got publicity. Morgan, because of MVP a couple of years, got publicity. But the guy that got screwed as far as the publicity, we'd have never won without him, was Tony Perez. Hell, he knocked in almost 1,700 runs, hitting after Johnny Bench. Johnny didn't leave too many ducks on the pond.
No.
So Tony Perez is a Hall of Famer too. But every player that's a really good player that plays with a super player doesn't get the just due that he deserves.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of players like that today. There's a lot of players like that today. You could go down team by team and pick out the star on the team. Then who's the second star? He's a really good player, but we don't know about him because we're paying attention to the star player.
Yeah.
It's okay. That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that some of those small market teams that keep coming up with big winning seasons is because of that.
If you want, moral of the story is, if you want to be a star player, become the star. Don't become the backup.
Yeah, second place. Do you have any? This was a question. I'm going to pop in and out because we had over 700 questions people sent in. Obviously, we only picked about 20.
Can I order breakfast?
No, we're only going to go through about 20 of them. But a guy, let's see. Patrick asked, "Did you have any? Who was your favorite player or athlete that was non-baseball?"
Well, when I grew up, I used to go to all the University of Cincinnati basketball games. And the star on the team was Oscar Robertson. So I liked Oscar.
Gotcha.
I got to watch every one of his games when he was at University of Cincinnati. And then this guy, he wouldn't know how to play as a freshman. So he only played 3 years. and he averaged 36 points a game for 3 years. And he still lives in Cincinnati. He was a great guy, and he was really competitive guy.
And a hell of a career.
Oh, he had a hell of a career. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
With the Bucks. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know. Just so everybody knows, I got our guy Nate. He's in the background. He's doing some cool stuff. There he is. So I wanted to mention real quick what we got going on. So we have some autograph stuff. I know Pete was down to do this. We have some autograph mugs, and we also have something cool we're doing. We got a few autographed baseballs that we're going to be giving away, and we're going to be doing them live. So if you get chosen, and the way you get chosen is by sharing this video. So if you haven't already, take this little break, hit share the video, and then comment below and say, hey, I just shared it. We're going to be picking a couple people at random, and Pete's going to be personalizing balls live. We're going to pick 2 people. And yeah, so Nate's going to keep an eye on that. Start sharing, start commenting. I'm going to let him choose at will. And then, Nate, when you're ready, we'll call you back on, pop on, let us know. We'll sign a couple balls. How's that sound?
Good.
Perfect. Can't hear you, Nate. You're on mute.
Thank you, Chris. We're going to be picking the first winner in 10 minutes. So you've got plenty of time to share this and tag as many friends in the comments as possible. I will be reading all of them, and we'll be picking some winners soon. So see you on the other side.
Appreciate you, Nate. Thank you, brother. All right, so let's dig into a couple of these questions. And I'll tell you, I'm going to tell you something first and foremost. Of all these questions that came in, I would say 60 to 70% were all about you deserve to be in the hall. You know, I know, but you know,
I'm the one that screwed that up. So we're not going to waste our time battling whether I should be in. Statistics-wise,
there's no doubt.
Be in. Okay,
But
I made a mistake, and I shouldn't have did what I did. So let's get on to some good questions, and don't worry about the Hall of Fame. I'd be the happiest guy in the world if I ever was able to go to the Hall of Fame. But I understand why, and I'm the reason why I'm not in the Hall of Fame. So I'm not going to get on your show or any other show and complain about that.
No, I was letting you know that everybody they love you, brother. They love you, and that's why they're all here. So that's always good to know. But tell me about this. So what do you think about today's hitters as a whole? Because I know the way you hit, the way your stance, the way you swing, everything is so much different than the typical player now. What is your thought on how players hit today?
Here's the deal. I hit the way I hit because that's the kind of swing I had. Okay, the guys today change their swings and they elevate, they drop their backhand because they want to hit the ball in the air. I didn't want to hit the ball in the air. I want to hit the ball on the line to all 3 fields. That's why I got so many hits. I was big enough to be a home run hitter. I'm the same size as Willie Mays, and he had 660 of them. Okay, I only hit 160 of them, but I had 750 doubles and 140 triples. I mean, I did the work the other part of the field, and it's just I was a leadoff hitter, so I knew what my job was. What was my job? To get on base for the Big Red Machine. Okay, and I actually got on base 5,960 times. Okay?
That's ridiculous.
That's why I have 3 Hall of Famers hit after me, Bench, Morgan, and Perez. They're all in the Hall of Fame, not because of me, but I give them the opportunity to knock in runs. They gave me the opportunity to score runs. Okay, and you have to hit based on your swing. I wasn't like this. I was more like this, trying to hit the ball on the line. If you ask me, I mean, there's no way of knowing this. I think I hit the ball harder than anybody in the history of baseball, consistently. I hit the ball hard both sides of the plate. And I'm not bragging about it. It's just a fact.
Yeah.
You can only get lucky so many times. So did I get lucky 4,256 times?
No.
I mean, you got to hit the ball hard. You got to put the ball in play. See, my dad used to tell me, you're leading off. Your object is to get to first, because the faster you get to first, the faster you get to second, third, and the faster you touch home. And all you're trying to do when you play the game is touch home more times than the opposition touches home.
Yep.
I mean, you said I got a lot of records. I got a lot of records. But the best record I got, and I don't think anybody will ever beat it, okay? Because this is the way we played, not I. We, okay? The Big Red Machine, the Phillies. I played in 1900 172 winning games. That means the games that I participated in, we won the game. And that's why you play. Okay, I played in 3,500 games. So 1,600 losing games. But to think if you come up today and you're a rookie, okay, and you play in 100 games and your team wins 100 games this year, you got to do that 19 more times plus 72. And there's not that many teams that are going to win 100 games in a normal year. I think there was a couple.
Not consistently. Yeah, not consistently. Well, and that brings me to something else, because I've seen a couple interviews you did and something you talk about that I have kids. I love. You play to win, right? Please elaborate on that, because
I don't want to get in trouble, Chris, on the show, okay? But I teach kids, okay? First of all, for you dads out there, you moms out there, you grandpas, you grandmas, you aunts, you uncles, when you go watch your kid play a little league game or a high school game, okay? Don't tell me that you're not in a better mood on the way home if they win, because you are. And if you're not, you shouldn't be going. These kids aren't playing baseball for exercise. Okay, you got to teach them to win. There's a difference in winning and losing. Okay, I'm not telling you to be a sore head if you lose. Okay, if you lose today, that's the good thing about baseball, Chris. Basketball, you play 2 or 3 games a week. Football, if you get beat on Sunday, you got to look at the film all week. Baseball, if you screw up Monday, you can be a hero Tuesday. Yeah. You screw up Tuesday, you can be a hero on Wednesday. I got a story for you. We're playing the Montreal Expos when I went to Phillies. Mike Schmidt, Hall of Famer, great player. He had the best eye of anybody ever seen. Okay? The first 4 times up, he struck out. He struck out on 12 pitches, which is unbelievable. I mean,
yeah.
He struck out 4 times on 12 pitches. Okay, Jeff Reardon's pitching for Montreal. He's leading off the 11th inning, extra inning game. First pitch, he hits a home run. So he had 13 pitches, 4 strikeouts. He ran right around the bases. Where'd he go? To the star of the game show. That's how fast it can turn around.
Mm-hmm.
It's what you've done for me lately. Who cares if he struck out in the 1st inning, in the 4th inning, in the 6th inning? What did he do in the 11th inning?
Yeah.
Okay. He turned his whole night around. He left the clubhouse in a good mood. Where if he hadn't hit that home run, I wouldn't want to ask him for an autograph when he went to the car, because you don't strike out 4 times very often. I struck out 5 times in a game. Ray Culp was the pitcher for the Philly, and 4 of the 5 were foul tips. How many times did you see that happen?
No.
But it happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't go home and beat my girlfriend. Okay. I went home and tried to prepare for the next night. Yep. Because I could have won 4 or 5 for 5 the next night. You got to forget what happened yesterday, last week, last month, last year. Worry about what's going to happen next week, next month, next year, because you're in control of it. And that's all you can do as an athlete. Okay, you're going to have bad nights and you're going to have good nights. But if you have a bad night, just hope the team wins.
So that's probably some of the better advice you can give to kids coming up now. I've never seen anything so upsetting as a participation trophy personally. But exactly. Listen, I'm not going to get into that either. I appreciate that. But me personally, I don't like that. Right. And I think I have 2 daughters, and teach my daughters, be tough. You know what? You're going to win. You're going to lose. She lost her soccer game the other night. You're going to lose. And what did you do, baby? She said, I'm going to come home and I'm going to practice, Daddy. I said, okay.
Dads out there, okay? Do you want your kid to get a C or an A? Are you in a better mood if he brings all A's home or if he brings all C's home?
Yeah.
You're in a better mood if he went 2 for 4 and they won the game, or he went 0 for 4 and they won the game. You should be in a good mood, okay? Because the whole purpose of you going to that ballpark is to watch your son win. And you don't win every time. Nobody.
Yeah. Losing, correct? Agree or disagree? Losing builds character just as much,
if not more. Losing, pardon my French, losing sucks.
Yeah, but it builds character.
But don't forget, I'm a former professional athlete that played 3,550 games. So I learned about losing. I learned about winning. Mm-hmm. Okay, just for participation in the games. I mean, I never went to spring training. I went to spring training as a player 24 times, and I went to spring training as a manager 5 or 6 times. I never went to spring training when I didn't think we had a chance of going to the World Series. There's probably 16, 17 teams out there today out of 30 that know they have no chance of going to a World Series.
Yeah.
That's sad. That's sad. I don't
Yeah.
know the teams. You know who they are.
Yeah.
And we just look at the record. And because if you start taking losing, you start believing, not believing in winning, you'll become a loser. Listen, here's the deal, okay? You can be a winner or you can be a loser. You can be positive or you can be negative. You can't almost be pregnant, okay? You're either positive and a winner or you're negative and a loser. And the team with the positive winning people on it got a better chance of winning than the negative losing people have. And there's a lot of negative people in this country. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and there's a lot of losers in this country. And there's a lot of winners. Okay. And there's a lot of positive people.
Yeah.
The world we live in today, you got to be positive.
You got
to survive.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll touch on that. I got a question related to that too in just a second. Nate, if you're there, man, it's been 10 minutes. Let's give some autograph swag away.
Yes, sir. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah, I got you, man. I got you.
All right. Our first winner is Jeff Parsons. So, Pete.
Oh, I know him. Don't give him no ball.
Yeah, you know him? He's a bad guy. Looks like he's a massive Reds fan. So if you could make out an autograph to Jeff, he would love it.
Cool. We're gonna make a ball out to Jeff.
Okay.
Jeff, not G, correct? Nate?
Correct. Jeff. And
Cool.
for everyone else watching, we're gonna be giving away more autographed merchandise here. So keep tagging your friends, keep sharing and retweeting, and we will be picking another winner very shortly.
Jeff, Jeff.
Correct. And while Pete's filling that out, just to tell you guys how much we really appreciate everybody in our dugout. I mean, we have tens of thousands of fans and followers and customers, and we appreciate every single one of y'all. And that's why we do fun stuff like this. We reach out to our friends and our colleagues in the baseball world, such as this gentleman right here. There it is, to Jeff. Appreciate you.
Hey, I want to send out a hello to Coco Fetterman.
Coco Fetterman.
Houston. Coco.
I'm
one of her favorite players. I better be, because that's my agent's little girl. Hey,
oh,
Coco.
nice. Okay. Well, hopefully she's on here watching. So, Jeff, congratulations, you got yourself a ball. Let's hey, we're going to talk about baseball. We're going to talk about not baseball, and a lot of people sent in a lot of crazy questions. One of the questions that came in: who do you think's winning the election this year? Do you want to get into that at all, or no?
Well, since I'm in the autograph business, and I depend on fans, and it's going to be so close. All I can tell you is I've met Donald Trump about 8 or 9 times. Okay, and I'm not going to get into Joe Biden because he's a Philly fan. He's from Delaware. He seems like a nice fella. I just hope the right guy wins and we get all this settled with tearing these towns down and burning these businesses down and that kind of stuff. It's not helping anybody.
Nah, gotta love one another, man.
Half of the guys are kneeling for the national anthem. Half of them aren't. I mean, just sports guys, just play the game. Play the game. Let society take care of the rest of it.
Yep.
Because we're not going to change anything. I don't think we're changing anything by kneeling during the national anthem. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. But who am I to say? I'm just a broken down ex-baseball player that's trying to sell mugs.
No, you leave selling mugs up to us. We do what we do very well. Okay. You keep teaching people. I mean, honestly, I think you got some of the better stories. We've had an opportunity to talk a few times. One time I was on the phone with my dad, I think, and the phone rings and it's you. You're like, hey, Chris, is Pete Rose. And I'm like, hey, Dad, I got to go. I got Pete Rose on the other line. He thought I was lying. He thought I was full of crap. But some of your stories that you've told me, man, have been great. So we'll sell mugs. You tell stories because I know people love them, man.
Well, I mean, when you play as many games as I played, Chris, I mean, I remember one time we were playing the Dodgers, a businessman special, and we scored 14 runs in the first inning. I remember one time we're playing in Chicago. We beat the Cubs 23-22. I remember another time we're playing in the Polo Grounds. I'm leading off. Jay Hook is pitching for the Mets. I hit the first pitch of the game for a home run in the upper deck at the Polo Grounds. That was 1963. That scenario did not happen again until 2013. First pitch of the game, home run, only run in the whole game. Think about that. Every other out was insignificant. So I've seen so many things happen in the world of baseball. Triple plays, I've seen those happen. You know, just different things that it seems like you'll see something new every day. I mean, that's the great thing about baseball. You never know what to expect. Why? Because there's no clock running. Football has a clock. Basketball has a clock. Hockey has a clock. Sometimes, believe me, as a former manager, that 27th out is difficult to get. Difficult to get.
So what you bring up the speeding up the game. There's been a lot of changes over the last handful of years, especially now in 2020 is the most dumpster fire year we've seen in a long time. But what do you think of like the rules and the changes? Are you a fan? Or are you like, I would imagine you're kind of
there's
a
only
lot
one
of the adjustments.
Speed up the game. And this will never happen, but it's the only way to speed up the game. And I'll tell you what it is. It's umpires calling more strikes. I watch 2 games every day. I just got through watching a game, getting ready to watch another one. I have no idea what the strike zone is from watching these umpires.
Mm-mm.
I mean, I've seen balls thigh high right down the middle called a ball. And every pitch, every player steps out, redoes his batting gloves. Okay? So how are you going to speed up the game? There's so many pitching changes now. Okay? Like last year in September, there was a couple games where there were 24 pitchers used. How in the hell are you going to speed up a game when you got 24, 2 guys start, and you got 22 pitchers coming in the game to take time walking from the bullpen, take time warming up? Okay? And there again, I tell people this all the time. Okay? A football game takes 3 hours. Did you ever watch the last 2 minutes of a basketball game in the NBA? It takes forever. Okay? Yeah. When you pan in the audience in a baseball game, what are people doing? Think about it.
Eating, drinking.
They're eating, drinking, or talking on the phone.
Yeah.
Okay? And then they'll bitch about the cost of the concessions. Well, my advice is if you're going to a game tonight, eat before you leave home and go watch the game be played. Get you a drink if you want, okay. But you don't want to go and eat 4 hot dogs, especially Dodger dogs. They're that big. I mean, you got to weigh 300 pounds to buy a Dodger.
Chicago dogs is big. Yeah.
I mean, so
yeah.
Baseball is always going to be the best bargain in sports simply because you play 81 home games. Okay? What's football play? 8? What's hockey play? 41? What's basketball play? 41 home games? So if you're in a hurry, don't go to a baseball game. Okay? Yeah. It's like this, Chris. Who do you root for? What team you root for?
Tampa Bay Rays. We're Central Florida guys.
If you go to the game tomorrow night and watch Tampa Bay play, and they lose 1-0, okay, and they lose 1-0, and the game took 2 hours, an hour and 50 minutes. You're pissed on the way home because Tampa Bay lost. Now you go back to the game tomorrow night, and Tampa Bay wins 15-2, and the game took 4 hours and 15 minutes. You're happy as hell going home, right? So one game took 2 hours. You're mad because the game was too long and you lost 1-0. The next game's 15-2. It took 4 hours. You're happy as hell because your team won. I mean, fans are crazy. Think about that. We're all the same. When we go to watch a team win and they lose, we're mad on the way home. And it doesn't matter how long it took the next night for them to win the game. We're happy on the way home. Yeah. The only bad thing is the kids going, they got to get up to school the next day. But now they're doing it from home, so we don't have that problem. But we can't go to the games because no one's in the
That was a bummer. We because we all Dugout Mugs, and for anybody maybe just jumping in now, we take baseball bat barrels and we hollow them out and we turn them into drinking mugs. Our mugs are sold at all the stadiums. Major league, minor league, everywhere you want to go, Dugout Mugs are there. So it's a ride business trip. We go to these games and we get to see the teams and the players and everything, and we don't get to do that this year, and it's been really a bummer.
Well, when I watch these games, Chris, a lot of these players are hitting like you hollowed their bat that they're using. That's why they can't hit. There's no solid contact because all the inside of the bat's hollowed out.
Well, we got to find bats somewhere. We sell a lot of mugs. You know what we did do? You mentioned a name earlier, Stan Musial, right?
It was
Stan the man. So we did, and I'll do this for you if you want. But Stan's daughter sent us a bunch of bats, and we converted them for her into mugs and bottle openers. So if you got a bat and you want to do something too, we'll make one of your old bats into a mug and a bottle opener. Let me know.
I'm playing St. Louis the last day of the season in 1963. It's Stan's last game, okay, at Memorial Stadium in St. Louis. I'm playing Segunda Base, second base. Stan gets a base hit to right field. Everybody knew it was his last hit. The right fielder threw me the ball. I took it over and I handed it to Stan, his last hit. Then when I broke his record, 36-31, he was at the ballpark and he came out to first base in Philadelphia when I broke his record. That's the kind of guy he was.
That's cool.
And I had to wait 57 days to break that record because I tied it against Nolan Ryan the night before we went on strike the next day for 57 days.
You had to wait 2 months to break it.
I never took so much batting practice in my whole life. I worked my ass off. Every day I went to the batting cage. I really stayed in shape. And then the first game back was the All-Star game in Cleveland. And I was a leadoff hitter, and I got a base hit to extend the hitting streak. Right there.
Nice. You mentioned getting in the batting cages and just busting your ass, right? And that's an honorable trait and just in life. You got a nickname that's just iconic. We made an entire mug out of it.
Yeah.
Tell me about the Charlie Hustle nickname, where it came from. If you liked it, if you don't like it, because some people don't like your nickname.
I love it because it's a credit to the way I played. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a non-roster player, if you know what that means. Every team has 40 men on the roster, and we're going to spring training. And because I just come off two straight 330 years, one in D ball and one in A ball, they invited me to spring training, which is good for me as a player because you got major league meal money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it helped you because I'm making $450 a month playing baseball back in 1961, 62, and we have a trip over to Fort Lauderdale. We trained in Tampa, so it's a 4-hour bus ride. So we go over to Tampa to play the Yankees. Okay, and my day is complete. We had a coach named Mike Reba. And my day was finished. He said, Rook, where are you going? He said, you got to wait for the bus. He said, go sit in the dugout. You might get in the game. Okay, now it's the 9th inning. We need a pinch runner. My manager, Fred Hutchinson, puts me in the pinch run. The guy hits a base hit, one step to the left fielder's left. I went from first to third, and I did a dive in the third, head first, safe. The next guy hit a pop-up to short left field. Tony Kubek, the shortstop for the Yankees, is backpedaling. He catches it. No one's going to backpedal and throw my ass out at home plate. Okay? I tag up and I go into first or go into home head first. Safe. We win the game 2-1. Now, Mickey and Whitey are in the clubhouse after the game talking to the reporters. The Yankees, a big deal.
Yeah.
And Mickey said,
and Whitey, kind of a big deal.
Mickey said to Whitey, did you see that Charlie Hustle beat us today? The next day in the New York paper, Charlie Hustle beats Yanks.
And that's how it came to be?
That's how it came to be.
So you got Don Charlie Hustle by Mickey Mantle and Whitey Ford?
Yep.
That's not a bad story at all.
Oh, they were great guys. They were great guys.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm glad I didn't have to face Whitey Ford. I played against Mickey. Mickey's like the rest of the stars. Stan, Mickey, Willie, Henry. Okay. They always talk to the young players, especially if they knew the young player was really serious about becoming a better player. Okay? I remember my first All-Star game was 1965 in Minneapolis. Okay, I'm a rookie, man. I'm a third-year player. I made the All-Star team, okay? So I go to the clubhouse the day before for the workout. The clubhouse guy put me between Mays and Aaron. Mays and Aaron. I went, what am I doing here? I got Willie Mays here and Henry Aaron here, and I'm in the middle of those guys. And that's why I love those guys, because they treated me like I was one of the players on the team, not like I was a rookie player that didn't belong there. I'll never forget the way they treated me at that first All-Star game. And I went on to play in 16 more All-Star games. And by the way, of the 17 we played in, and Willie and Henry were on a lot of those teams, we lost one. The only All-Star game we lost was 1971 in Detroit, when Reggie Jackson hit that monster home run.
Monster shot. Yeah.
That damn thing would have went out of Yellowstone Park. That's how hard he hit it.
Yep.
That's a joke. You can laugh if you
want. No, what I was thinking of is I heard you say something the other day that you had 10,000 outs, which is more outs than Reggie Jackson had at bats. Is that true?
Well, not quite 10,000, 9,800 and something. And I don't know how many. I don't know about it. Reggie is the all-time leader in strikeouts, over 2,500. But Reggie was a good player, man. Reggie's a good friend of mine. I mean, Reggie would tell me, he says, I don't care. He said, 562 times I gave the people what they wanted, and that was a damn souvenir. That's how many home runs he hit. This is funny. He said, I used to step in the batter's box. And when I stepped into the batter's box, there was a man in scoring position.
Nice. That's cool. Yeah.
He believed that. He really believed that.
Yeah. He's a serious dude. I met him in Tampa. We did some stuff with Mariano Rivera, and I met Reggie. I had a chance to spend a couple minutes with him in Tampa. He was a cool guy. He's
the best. I mean, I could listen to him talk all day. There's three people I could listen to talk all day: Reggie, Lou Piniella, and Roger Clemens. Those guys got all the baseball lingo, and they're just entertaining to talk to.
Yep.
They're fun people.
Roger's a good dude. We gave away an autographed Roger Clemens ball earlier today to a fan.
In the Hall of Fame.
He's a good dude.
Cy Young winner.
7 times Cy Young. Yeah, it's great.
He told me a story one time. Remember for fans, you remember El Duque, pitcher for the Yankees? Duque. You don't remember?
I can't remember. Put the name to it.
He was a pitcher for the Yankees.
Yeah. No, I remember the name, but I can't.
Roger tells me when El Duque tells a story about coming from Cuba, you think he's in a canoe and there's sharks surrounding the canoe. The reality of it, he came in sitting upstairs on a bed with a glass of wine when he came over. Okay. So all of a sudden it's his birthday at Yankee Stadium. Okay. And they find out that he lied about his age, and he was 3 years older than what he told everybody he was. So Roger said, what I did when I got to the ballpark, I brought him 3 extra birthday cakes because he lied about his age. He said he was 29. He was really 33.
That's funny.
Oh, it is funny. What Roger tells is real funny.
Yeah. Roger's a trip.
Oh, he is.
Let me ask you a question. So this was, again, I'm kind of peppering in questions, and then we're going to give with Nate to give one more giveaway in a second. But current players.
Yeah.
There's some guys out there. Pujols just tied Willie a couple days ago, 660. That's incredible, right? Yeah. To current player reach some of these levels. Is one or two? Are there any current players that really intrigue you that might even embrace the Charlie Hustle style or anything like that?
Where is it? Play hard. If you're asking me anybody's going to break my record, I don't think so. And I'll tell you.
I don't think so either. I'm curious more your favorite players that are currently playing.
Well, the thing about Albert Pujols is his RBIs. I mean, he's got 2,200 RBIs. I mean, I think who has the all-time record? Henry? Has Henry got 20?
I don't know offhand.
But you got 2,200 RBIs. It's unbelievable. And Mike Trout's a real good player. Christian Yelich is a real good player. The kid for the Dodgers, Betts, he's a real good player. That's why they make all that money. They're not giving money away, But these guys are really good players. But you don't have to be a Pete Rose type player to run the first on a base on balls. Because the guys I just mentioned, Betts and Mookie, Mookie Betts and Christian, they play hard. They play hard every day. And if you don't play hard, you're embarrassing yourself, you're embarrassing your fans, you're embarrassing your teammates, and you're embarrassing the city you play for. Okay?
Yeah.
I never had a problem with players not playing hard for me. Can you imagine a player not busting his ass playing for me in Cincinnati?
Yeah, there's no excuse.
You're
You're not going to put up with that.
Okay? And I like to tell people this, Chris. And they say, how did you play? I'll tell you how I played the game. And I think you'll agree with me. I played the game the right way. Okay? I didn't play the wrong way. There's only one way to play, and that's all out for 2.5 hours every night. Win, lose, or draw. Okay?
Leave it all out there.
Play hard when you're doing good. You got to play hard when the team's not doing good, when you're not doing good. And it's hard. It's hard to bust your ass when your team's in the cellar. Okay? Like right now, we got 10 games to go, and everybody will play 60. There's some teams that have no chance. You don't make the playoffs this year with 18 teams going in, I think. Is that how many's going?
Yeah, they adjusted it. They're letting more in shorter season.
If you don't make the
Some
playoffs,
don't even have 20 wins. Some teams don't even have 20 wins yet.
14. Pirates got 14. 2 teams got 14. If you don't make the playoffs this year, you are on a bad team. A bad team. And there's going to be 4 or 5 teams make it that are 500. Going to be 20 and 20. That's what the Reds are, 2 games under 500 now. And they were 7 or 8 games. So they think if they get to 500, they're going to get one of those wild card teams. I mean, I never heard of that. You got a chance to go to the World Series, you're 500?
Yeah.
There's something wrong with that pitcher, isn't there?
Well, there's something wrong with this whole year, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, we have to understand that. We realize that and make the best out of it. So,
hey, well, I heard some. I forget which manager it was. Maybe it was Ross. He said, if they're giving out a trophy, I want it. Everybody's dealing with the same thing. Like, hey, if they're giving out a trophy, I want it.
He played for Cincinnati. See, here's another thing. Okay, let me ask you a question. Think before you answer this question. And what makes a good manager?
Understanding the strengths of the tools, I would think, the strength of the players.
No.
You tell me.
There's one thing that makes a good manager or a good coach, and it's good players. Okay? Joe Madden won the World Series a couple years ago. They were way over 500 last year. Okay, they fire him. He goes over there and makes $5-6 million a year in Anaheim. They're 10 games under 500. Same Joe Madden. You don't know any more, any less about baseball. You understand what I'm saying? If you can you name me a team that won that had bad players? No, there isn't any. The players that win got good players. And the secret to a manager's success is making sure that the good players play good. Not the good players play mediocre, okay? Because the bad players are going to play bad. But if you got a lot of good players and they play good, you got a good chance of winning. You got mediocre players, play mediocre, don't play poor. And that's the job of the manager, to get the players to play up to their capabilities on a nightly basis.
Right.
Not rocket science. But everybody wants to make it so difficult. Because what I'm saying, Chris, is there's 30 baseball teams. That means there's 30 managers. Okay? The guy managing the Mets don't know any more about baseball than the guy managing the Dodgers. The guy managing the Dodgers don't know any more about baseball than Dusty in Houston. Okay? But they know more about their players. And the more you know about your players, the more you can expect from them. Because I learned a long time ago, even at the big league level, if you put players in situations where they'll fail, they'll fail. Okay? What I mean by that, you don't put a guy that can't run in the pinch run. You don't put a guy that can't hit up to pinch hit. Okay? You just don't do that. That's why you have 25 players. Everybody can do. Everybody that listen to you and I talk right now has expertise. We all have expertise. It's just a matter of going out and doing your expertise daily, consistently, daily. That's what you want from an athlete. That's consistently plays the way his capabilities say he should play every day. You're going to have ups and downs. Sure, everybody does. Hell, I betted 14,058 times. 14,000. That's official. I had 1,500 walks and got hit 110 times. So I had almost 16,000 at bats. How am I going to be successful every at bat? You understand what I'm saying?
Consistent.
Can't. But you got to try.
Yeah.
You got to try to be consistent. You may
Yeah.
not, but you still got to try.
That's the consistency, isn't it? Is
Yes.
the try, the effort. You
Yes.
give it 100%. 3 out of 10 times. You'll
It's
actually.
the only sport in the world where you can fail 7 out of 10
So,
times
yeah.
to go to the Hall of Fame. You think we're buying LeBron James' his jersey if he shoots 3 out of 10? Or we
No.
buying Tom Brady's jersey if he completes 3 out of 10? No, we're not. But 3 out of 10 makes it in baseball.
Put you in the hall.
I barely did over 3 out of 10. My career average was 303. But that's for 15,000 at bats. It's hard to hit 300. That's the goal of every baseball player, to hit 300.
Yeah. Well, Nate, if you're there, because I don't want to run you too late, Pete. Nate, if you're there, let's give away some more stuff, brother, because I know everybody's been sharing this and commenting like crazy, and we appreciate that. So keep up the good work. We still got a couple mugs as well. So, Nate, you know what? Let's do this. Pick 2 people. We'll give a mug away as well.
Two.
The autograph Hit King mug right here.
Awesome. The first one, we'll say that mug is going to Landon Weiner. He shared this post with all his friends, said he was having an awesome time listening to all of Pete's stories.
Appreciate you, Landon. This is coming to you, brother, right here.
Where's the ball going?
The ball,
He's got number 2 coming right now.
we're going to pick right now. That's going to go to Adam Rothenberger. So the ball's going to Adam, A-D-A-M. And the autograph mug is going to go to Landon. We've had over 700 comments, over 160 shares. Thanks to everyone who's participating in this. Keep tagging friends because we're always giving stuff away.
Cool.
And I will hand it off to you guys.
All right, Pete, we'll wrap it up pretty quick, brother. I know you got the rest of your night. You got some games to watch. I think we do too. So here was a good question that came in, a lady named Beth. What are 3 things that people wouldn't know about you? Just like 3 random, not a secret, but like what are 3 things people don't know about you? Everything Charlie Hustle and baseball. But what else?
I guess the biggest thing people don't know about me is that I gamble.
What are your favorite food?
Well, my favorite dish here in Vegas is a restaurant called Michael's that's got the best Dover sole in the world.
What's Dover sole?
Dover sole fish.
Oh, okay.
It's unbelievable, though. And they ship it in every 2 days from way over in Europe or something. The other thing is I have my coffee every morning at 10 o'clock. Okay. And I don't stay up late. I try not to get up early, but sometimes you just wake up early, and it's a long day in Vegas now because I'm not working because there's no people staying at the hotels, and what I need in Vegas is customers.
Yeah.
That's what I drive on is customers, and we're waiting for the MGM is opened back up, and we're waiting for the hotel to get some occupancy where we can have some customers, and I love to work. Here I work for Fetterman Sports. All right, I sign autographs 5 hours a day, and it's like me playing a doubleheader every day, and I'm not going to make it out. I get to talk baseball 5 hours a day.
Yeah,
today.
and fans love it. I've talked to so many people.
Fans, and I don't pull no punches. I tell the truth.
Yeah,
okay? I got in trouble a lot of times in my life for telling the truth because a lot of times reporters will ask you a question, and they don't want you to answer it the way they want you to answer it. And you answer it the way you want to answer it, then a lot of times it causes controversy.
they'll spin it a bunch of different ways, whatever. Yeah.
That was the biggest change in my life. Well, I haven't been on the field now since 1989. But even in 89, the biggest change in baseball, as far as I was concerned, was not the salaries, not the dedication, was the press.
Okay.
When I watch the press today, the way they handle Donald Trump, it's the way they handled a lot of players back in the 80s and the 70s, all looking for a scoop, all looking for his controversial story because it puts them out front. Everybody knows who they are. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, ratings.
They don't write a bad article. No one knows who the hell they are. That's a big change. The press,
Yeah.
the press. We have freedom of the press. I understand that, but some guys go overboard with that.
Yeah.
And all I ever told my players is, be honest with the press. You know, I mean, they'll ask tough questions, give them tough answers. And if you don't want to,
It feels dangerous though. Sometimes you can see it in the guys. Like they just shut their mouth. They walk away. They put their head down. They're terrified to say anything.
Because it's hard to say, which a lot of time, that's what a lawyer will always tell you to say. No comment.
Yeah.
That's all they can write is no comment. If that's all you say, that's all they can write.
Mm-hmm.
They can't say, Pete Rose said no comment to this blank blank because I didn't say that. I said no comment.
Yeah.
That's not a story.
Yeah, that's not newsworthy.
What kind of scoop is no comment?
Yeah, it's not even newsworthy.
No, it's not.
Well, let's okay, so I got the most common question that was asked had nothing to do with gambling. There was only like 3 or 4 of those, so that's kind of cool. But who was the toughest pitcher you ever faced? The one guy that just had your number. It was amazing. This question was asked 50 or 60.
Two guys, and I'll admit, one was one of the greatest. I was 10 for 59 off Sandy Koufax. Don't get your calculator out. That's 175. Okay, that's what I hit against Sandy Koufax. And I couldn't hit Randy Jones of San Diego. And he didn't throw 80 mile an hour. But he just had a sinker, and you get yourself out. He didn't get me out, I got myself out. But
those are the 2 guys that had you covered.
307 off Bob Gibson. I hit 340 off of Juan Marichal. You know, I hit 296 off of Nolan Ryan. Struck me out 13 times, walked me 18 times. I hit 540 off of Warren Spahn. 17 for 32. So, and the reason I know those numbers because I'm always talking about them when I do interviews or do banquets and answer questions to people. One of the best pitchers I ever faced was Juan Marichal. That guy was a pitcher. I hit 342 off of him. I just saw him good. You know, there's a lot of pitchers I couldn't hit, and you would say, how could you not hit him? I mean, nobody could hit Koufax. Tommy Helms could hit him. Woody Woodward could hit him, but I couldn't hit him. Koufax had a great fastball and a great curveball, and every time he went out there, like Nolan Ryan, he could pitch a no-hitter.
Yeah.
Pitchers. Okay? There's a couple of those guys out there today.
Nolan was a beast.
He was.
Who do you think is one of the best
Not
pitchers?
only was he big, not only was he a beast, he was a competitive beast.
Yeah. Yeah, you could tell.
And I'll tell you another competitor. I hit 307 off of Bob Gibson. He was a competitive guy, too. Did you know that Bob Gibson played for the Harlem Globetrotters?
No. I have a feeling there's a lot of things you know that I don't know. Just your attention to detail and factual.
I got 30
questions here. Like, I'm fairly certain I don't. That's cool, man. Very cool. In
other words, what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Say Bob Gibson played for the Globetrotters. Bob Gibson was an athlete. He wasn't.
Obviously.
Him and Nolan Ryan and Steve Carlton were probably the guys that stand out as far as being competitive. Because I only faced Sandy 63, 4, 5, and 6. But I faced those other guys their whole careers. You know, when you see him a lot more. Fergie Jenkins was a good pitcher.
What about Tom Seaver, late great recently?
He was a great. He was a teammate.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why Tom Seaver was so good. Everybody in baseball throws balls from here up. They got giddy up on it. You throw hard upstairs. Tom Seaver threw hard down. And the object of a pitcher is to keep the ball down. His fastball down was harder than his fastball up.
Really?
And I got success off Tom because, to be honest with you, I was a low ball hitter. Left-handed, I was a low ball hitter. Right-handed, I was a high ball hitter. And now I'm a high ball drinker. Not really.
Yeah, you mentioned that a minute ago. So that's, in my opinion, that's something. So you don't drink.
No, never did, never will.
In which, to
My
me,
dad didn't drink either.
well, but when we're talking about three things that people may or may not know about you, you live in Vegas, you live a pretty rock star kind of, whole life has been like that, but you never drank, you don't, and you never really did. That's interesting to me.
You'll never interview any player that played against me or with me that will ever tell you they saw me drink or smoke. Because my dad didn't drink or smoke.
Yeah.
And I learned at a very early age, if you and I go out tonight and we got a game tomorrow, okay, and you get drunk and I don't drink, who's going to feel better tomorrow?
Oh, for sure. 100%.
I got to play. I had to play every day. I didn't miss games. I didn't take off games. You got to remember, Chris, my first 16 years in the big leagues, I had 1-year contracts. So I got paid in 65 for what I did in 64. I got paid in 74 for what I did in 73. And if you start missing games and go to the ballpark hungover,
your price tag's going down.
I had to try to score 100 runs, hit 300, and get 200 hits every year I played. That was my goal. Because if I did those three things, I helped
your next season to finish.
We had a chance to win.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's cool. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap it up, man. There was one question came in. Our friends over at Win Daily, of course, they had to ask some questions. Who do you think takes the World Series? Who's your favorite? Who's your dark horse? And who has the best betting power or the best betting value? What are your predictions for 2020?
Any of the teams that have a chance to win the World Series, you're not going to get value. But the best team today is the Dodgers.
Yeah, they're playing out of their mind.
And they hit the home runs. I mean, the Dodgers are going to be tough to beat. The Yankees were going to be tough to beat. Then they got this rash of injuries. Everybody's out. The Yankees got to play hard in the next 10 days to make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
They're third over there in that division. Tampa Bay's got a good ball club.
Yeah.
The White Sox got a good ball club.
See, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking the White Sox from a value perspective. That's a pretty
right there. The White Sox may be the best value because everybody picked Tampa Bay. The Yankees when the season started, and everybody picked the Dodgers.
But the White Sox got momentum, and you can't touch momentum and heat. When you heat up,
Yeah, but they still got that history the last 15 or so years, and it always catches up with you.
Yeah, it's history for a reason.
Well, some teams just get in the habit of losing. Some teams get in the habit of winning. Okay? The Yankees got 27 world championships. That's enough for me. That's a great organization, the Yankees.
Yeah.
And they pay the money, no question about it. The Dodgers pay the money too. They're going to have to pay that Bellinger in a couple of years. And he's looking at Mookie's contract.
Yeah, and Cody's having a slump right now. Obviously, that's temporary. Everybody has a different way of breaking out.
Every year, it seems like Cody Bellinger, when you get close to the playoffs, he gets into a slump.
Yeah.
You don't produce in the playoffs. It's just like, I'll argue with you right now that Trout's probably the best player in baseball. I think.
I wouldn't argue with that. He's good.
One of the two. The last couple of years, Christian Yelich was right up there. But Trout, and it's not his fault. Don't get me wrong. I'm not blaming Trout. But usually when a player has Trout's capabilities, the team he's on gets to the playoffs. He leads his team to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Anaheim's not going to make the playoffs again this year. Mm. And they signed Rendon, who's really a good player.
Rendon's a good player. Yeah. Ohtani's not a bad player at all. He's a.
I'm not sold on.
He's not, I say he's not a bad player. Pujols, he's got a lot of leadership. He can, he's obviously in his final years, but they had an okay squad, but they didn't have the firepower,
And they picked a year when Houston's having an off year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And now Houston's in their division, right?
I think so.
Seattle is having a pretty good year. You got Houston, Seattle, and you got Anaheim, and what's the other team? What's the other team, Mike? That's in that division. I got it right here. Probably a team leading the division. I don't follow the American League much. Okay.
Athletics.
Yeah, Athletics. Yeah, Oakland.
Yeah, Athletics. Yeah.
Yeah, right now Oakland's first, Houston's second, Seattle's third, and the Angels are 20 and 28. That's Joe Madden's team.
10 games back. Yeah.
Well, they only got 11 to play.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to lose that.
No.
You know, your playoff teams are Tampa Bay. Toronto's right up there because you got to come first or second. They're ahead of the Yankees.
Toronto's got some young guns too, man.
Yes, all fathers and sons.
Yeah, Biggio, Vlad, Bichette.
Good division. You got the White Sox, the Twins, and the Indians. They all three make the playoffs. Okay, then you got Oakland and Houston, and Houston is only a couple games ahead of the Mariners. So Houston's going to make it the playoffs because they're going to be in second place. In the National League, you got the Braves and the Marlins, and the Phillies are right behind the Marlins. You got the Cubs, the Cardinals. The Reds are up in third now, a game and a half behind the Cardinals. The Dodgers, the Padres, and maybe, I don't know. I don't think the Giants are going to make it. The National League's up in the air, but you know, there's a lot of bad teams going to make it.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm gonna tell Nate. Nate, you still there, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Let's give away the Charlie Hustle autograph.
Let's do it.
Good.
All right, you pick that. This is my favorite, and it's about to be somebody else's favorite mug as well. This will be the final giveaway. Now, while you're looking that up, if everybody wants to go to dugoutmugs.com/Pete Rose, you can find the entire Hit King collection. I suggest you do that. These are awesome mugs. Everything we have is lifetime guarantee. So we don't play around. We make beautiful products, and it's something that, as you can see behind me, something you'd be proud to showcase at an office, take to the ball game, drink a beer in your living room, whatever you want to do. So Nate, who's the final winner of the Charlie Hustle?
The last winner is going to be
Nate,
I'm gonna go random right here.
Right, head first for 24 years. You hear me, Chris?
No, what'd you say?
I said that's what you look like when you slide head first for 24 years.
The winner of that mug is Tris Speaker. Tris, T-R-I-S.
Speaky?
You are the winner of that autographed Charlie Hustle mug. We will DM you and get your shipping info.
Perfect. Nate, you've been awesome. I'll let you take off. Pete, I got one more thing for you, brother. I got a bet that you can always make, and that's bet on Dugout Mugs, my brother, because we make the best bat mugs in the world, and we're going to continue to do that with collaborations and colleagues like yourself. And we appreciate your time. You spent an hour with us. I couldn't be more grateful. I wish you an amazing evening out there in Las Vegas. And if you need anything from us, you let me know.
Maybe we can do this again when the World Series comes around.
I'm totally down. As long as we'll drink water out of bats together, sir.
Iced tea is good.
Tea's good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, go have a coffee at 10 a.m. in your mug tomorrow. And Mike, I know you're back there. We appreciate you, brother. Pete, we appreciate you as well. And we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody, for coming out tonight.
All right, man. Good luck. Thank you.